Oh, I remember all you dweebs telling me, oh, Calories Ice is not that good. Glastrier is probably better. Well, guess what? All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. The main event here. We are going to be doing what the title says. We had a tier list before the series started, and now we've been in it for like what, a month, 2 months, a year, I don't friggin' know. And I wanted to, revise the tier list now that we've gotten to play against or with most of these mods. So I want to do that. Got a little background music playing. Let me know if you guys like it with music or if you prefer these to just be, my voice. If you like the sound, I'm going to link a channel in the description, Homeboy's YouTube channel. One of those guys actually gave me this beat. So I was like, let's put it to use. And I like it, so I'm going to listen to it. So let's just go ahead and get right into the list, right? So we got Mewtwo, I guess. We'll just go in the order that we have right here. So Mewtwo, I have to unfortunately put it in C, and I'll tell you why. It just doesn't do enough. And it's like Mewtwo's so fast, so strong, right? But the issue is like the common threats in the meta game and stuff like that. It doesn't hit them, or they hit it back too hard, or it's just like they're too fast and they hit them too hard. And it's like, damn, man, Mewtwo doesn't really do enough. And it's like, as your max option, there's mods that you can max that are better, that are like not restricted. And then if you're gonna like not max your restricted, there are mods that are way better that you want to use that are not max, And I like Mewtwo a lot. It's not the game for it. I don't think it is. Next we're gonna go with Big Shield Dog. This one's also gonna go in C. I don't care what you guys think. You guys probably think, oh, it could be higher. Boo. This dog just doesn't. Another doesn't do enough syndrome. Just doesn't do enough. Like Behemoth Bash is good, but like you can intimidate it, you can fake it out. It doesn't have the +1. The defense boost is nice, but like there's ways around that. You kind of want it to be like specially bulky at times anyway. Like, and it can't max, and it doesn't put out a ton of offensive pressure. It's very good support mod, but it's like, as a support mod, you want your restricted like supporting, or you want it to like nuke stuff, But at least that's what I kind of want. So yeah, Doggo is a C tier. It's not the absolute bottom of the barrel. Maybe I'll move it up later. I don't know. I'll see. Calyrex, the Ghost Horse Rider, aka the Ghost of Rapidash. I'm actually gonna put this one way up here. This thing is so good. It's so good, and like it's so good. And I'll tell you why. Right now, most people play this thing the exact same way. You bring it out in the back, nuke stuff, or you bring it out in the front, nuke stuff. You max it, you nuke stuff. And it's like, people know exactly how this thing is played, everything it does, and it still wins games. Like, it's just, you just can't really stop it, without like a surefire plan. And then if it comes out in the back in the late game, it's basically over at that point. It's really, really hard to beat. It's so fast, so destructive. I think in the last tier list I may have had it in S, but it's really, 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 really good. And I do think it has more options in it that people have not really unlocked yet. So like, I always see it getting like better, which is kind of nuts, This is going to be a little bit less detailed than the last tier list because we kind of know about all the mods. I'm not going to go through all their abilities and stats and all that stuff. Like, we know what they do. This one is going to go to the double S as well, because it's the same as this thing, except it hits harder, which is like nuts, because its spread move is 10 base power higher. And not only does it hit harder, but it's so much harder to kill. Like, if I had to do it like that, it'd be like this, then this. But they're both, you can pick any one, you can't go wrong. But yeah, this one is just so hard to kill, especially in max. Sets up its own trick room. So even if you like kill the trick room setter, it can set up its own trick room. Even things that resist ice get hit really hard. People have only been running 2 attacks on this thing, and it's still been doing so much damage. It's just it's an incredible mod. Oh, I remember all you dweebs telling me, oh, Calories Ice is not that good. Glastrier is probably better. Well, guess what? Nobody's even using Glastrier anymore because of how good this horse is. So joke's on you. I was right, you was wrong. Ha ha. Zacian is better than I thought it would be. I thought it would be like the best, mind you, and it's even better than that. I think what makes it so broken, besides obviously the speed and the +1 attack, Behemoth Blade being, it's supposed to be like a balance, right? Where it doubles in power because Dynamax doubles HP and you can't Dynamax. But what you don't realize is you get this ability, right? Even if the max mon is not at double HP because they say they're taking damage already. So if that thing's at half HP, which is its normal HP, you're still hitting it with a 200 base power move. That's a bit unfair. I think that's a little unfair. So it's broken pretty much for that option alone. You kind of just need Behemoth Blade, and then a lot of people run like Sacred Sword or like it used to be close combat. Some people like to do play rough sparingly, but then you put it up behind a substitute, get it behind screens or something, then it becomes hard to kill. It's a really, really, really busted Pokemon. And if this was in a format where there was no Dynamax, even if Behemoth Blade didn't get double, it'd be like nuts. Lugia, I'm putting A. It's actually really good. Just because it's fast and it's bulky, like in weakness policy and max is kind of busted, and that's just how you run it, and that makes it good. Like if it was just Lugia by itself, it'd probably be lower, but in this format, Lugia is actually just very, very strong. So what I'm gonna do here, right, is I'm gonna put Ho-Oh. I can't put Ho-Oh and Lugia in the same tier, so for now, unless I revise it, I'm gonna put Ho-Oh right here because Ho-Oh is nuts. It's bulkier than Lugia. I want to say, does it hit harder? It hits really hard, and it gets recover. And it's like it just doesn't die, and it also kills stuff. Like that's just nuts, It would be higher if not for like 4 times weakness to rock, which kind of holds it back a little bit, which causes some problems. But it's still awesome. I've been using it recently, and you get some speed control behind this thing, and it can really, really snowball stuff. Kyogre, click water spout. Game is over. Not really much to say about Kyogre. It's just so strong. It's like a win button. It's like an easy button, honestly. And it's just perfect. People have been doing like Scarf Kyogre now to make it even faster because people are doing like some Scarf-Alecki stuff, which is like, how much speed do you want in this thing? But whatever. Some people are doing like Specs, which is nuts because the damage output is already crazy. But it's really good. Groudon is, now I don't know if Groudon is this good because it's this good on its own. So I actually think Groudon is better than Ho-Oh, so I might have to do something like this, and I might come back and revise it again. But Groudon is basically a worse Kyogre, but like a worse Kyogre is, awesome. It's just that it doesn't have it doesn't make great use of the sun because it's not a fire type. But Precipice Blades is awesome, even though it can miss. But it's like, that's stupid. Why can Precipice Blades miss, but Water Spot count? Like, whatever. Precipice Blades is still awesome. Hits really hard. It does set the sun, which is a great mode in Series 8. Well, actually, it's a great mode in Sword and Shield since like Sun was available. Since Venusaur's come back, it's just been awesome. So like, for those reasons, I think Groudon is in the S tier. It's like in the top class of the restricteds. Rayquaza, I don't know if it does enough in this format. It just doesn't. I don't really want to spend too much time on it because it feels bad, man. Feels bad. Feels really bad. Dialga actually can go, I don't know if it's as good as Ho-Oh, but it's better than Lugia. So I'm gonna put it right here. Dialga's really good, really bulky, says Trick Room. Does lots of damage whether you give it weakness policy or its orb or whatever it is. Give Dialga a primal. Hashtag give Dialga a primal. But yeah, does good damage when you give it a boost. Now it doesn't do great damage when it's not boosted, but it has a lot of coverage to boost its own defenses and lower your like stats, so it's a really good mod. Palkia is just about the same to me, with like a little bit less weakness because it eats some hits from certain other mons a little bit better than Dialga does, in my opinion. Just by typing, not by like natural bulk, but just like because of the typing. Like this is weak to ground, and like everything is using ground type moves. This one is not, but they're about the same to me, so I put it right here. Giratina, poor Giratina. It looks so menacing, but it's so trash. So first thing I want to do, right, is I'm gonna put Zekrom. Is Zekrom as good as Ho-Oh? I feel like it's definitely better than Lugia, no? I'm gonna put it here for now. It's really good. You know, people are using it as a physical attacker. Mostly some special Zekrom has popped up lately. But it's good. Has a lot of coverage, great ability, does a lot of damage. And mine's like this, where like the counterpart's the same. I think Reshiram, even though you haven't seen a lot of Reshiram, and I haven't gotten to play with it much. Even though its usage is low, I think that it's just as good as Zekrom in a sense where like, they share a common ground weakness. It has a rock type weakness, but a lot of the things aren't really hitting big rock type moves anyway. It's mostly the ground types. And more things like the steel types, which a lot of them resist the electricity, but they don't resist fire. Like Reshiram can do everything Zekrom wants to do, but probably even better. But because like its usage is low, it holds it back a little bit. So I think they belong in the same class. Xerneas is, I'm gonna skip Xerneas for a minute. Yveltal, awesome. Does great things. Foul play out of max, or you max it, assault vest it, it doesn't take any damage. Dark Pulse counters other types in the meta really well. Avoids ground. It's overall just a great mod. This thing is pretty okay. It's just it's a bit passive, but it's hard to kill. But it's a bit passive. Opens yourself up a lot to hacks and flinches and crits. But when you're not getting hit with those things, it's really good. But that's about it. The Lion King, I think, belongs here. No, I had Ho-Oh lower before, so moving it up does feel right. But yeah, Solgaleo, it's faster than Metagross, and Metagross is awesome. We know that. And then people are doing like the bulldoze stuff, which is really, really good. Maxing has done a lot for this mod's viability. And its ability, like I said, you can't have its stats lowered, is awesome. Like especially in a meta game where everything is about lowering the stats, because you know either Air Stream is making stuff faster, or you know Darkness is lowering special defense, stuff like that. Like it's just nuts. I'm gonna take Lunala and put it here. Lunala is better than I thought. I do find out, even though it hits hard, I do find sometimes I'm looking for a little bit more damage, and like I want to put a Life Orb on it really bad. But the issue with that is that Shadow Shield is a great ability, and it only works at full HP. I don't want to break the Shadow Shield by doing damage with a Life Orb. So, you know, I put like a Cobra Berry or like something like that. And like you could put a Life Orb. You guys can do what you want with it, but like you don't want to really break your own Shadow Shield, you know? Because then you open yourself up to hits. And then the speed is a little bit lacking, so you gotta pair it with something for speed control. And it doesn't it takes hits pretty well, especially like I said with Shadow Shield, but for the most part, it leaves a little bit to be desired. Like it's good, it's just you wish it could do a little bit more. Then there's Necrozma. So Necrozma Batman, I'm putting down here for this reason. It doesn't do anything that I can't get right here. And the ability is so much worse because it just cuts like super effective moves down by 25%. And that means the move that it's most likely gonna get hit with is Dark and Ghost, like from Urshifu or Shadow Rider. It just makes it 4 times weak to 3 times weak. And if you get hit with a 3 times super effective move, you're probably gonna die anyway. So but it can't lack the things that like it lacks normally and not take hits. This thing here though, Necrozma Lion King, this is awesome. I didn't know how good it was until I got to play with it for a few games, and it's really strong. because it has the ability where like it lowers super effective move damage, but it doesn't have those same 4 times weaknesses. So it takes 2 times weaknesses and makes it 1.5, which is like awesome for something with the bulk that it has. And then it has resistances on top of that. Like, that's nuts. And then you put a weakness policy on it. You can self-proc, or you can basically guarantee a proc from the opponent without dying. Like, that's insane. That's just absolute nonsense. So like, I think it belongs up here for sure. Absolutely belongs up here. I'm gonna do something because maybe I'm a little bit biased. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because Xerneas, I feel like it should be higher, but it is having a hard time right now, right? Now the reason it's having a hard time though is because people just don't have like the faith in it that they should. But like, it's still so dangerous. And I think once people like decide to commit to Xerneas, they'll see that it's still really strong. I just think people are scared to play it because Zacian's around so much. But like, there's still ways, you know. There's definitely still ways, and people just don't want to commit to using those ways and finding them, which is fine. I think it belongs higher, but because I know right now people don't have a lot of faith in it, it's not. It's having a hard time because it's not being used a lot. I put it in the B tier. It's way like it's better than like all this stuff. It's better than everything by a lot. Yeah, it's better than all that stuff. Like, and you can just max it at life orbit, and then you still don't screw that. A tier. Don't care what y'all say. If you disagree, put it in the comments. Tell me why, and I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong. Yeah, you can still max this thing life orbit, and then still get fairy aura boost and nuke stuff. And if you get the geomancy up still, the game is essentially over. And don't get, especially if you're bidding out in the back and get the geomancy up, it's essentially over. Like, I can't think of many games where like I personally lost with Xerneas where like the geomancy gets up and you still lose. Nah, once that thing is up, it's stuck, and that's all it is. So this is what I think I'm gonna roll with for now. We'll see if we get, so you know, Players Cup 3. Let's see what Restricted wins Players Cup 3, and let's see what if Players Cup 4, which is gonna start with Restricted Mons. It's gonna start with Restricted Mons. Let's see which one takes over for that. Let me know in the comments how you feel about the list. Let me know which of these restricted you're thinking about playing for the Players Cup. Oh, what just moved? Get back up there. Yeah, so yeah, let me know what you think about playing for Players Cup, and let me know what you think of the list. And thank you guys for showing up. Again, link in the description for the creator of this beat if you like it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Oh, and almost forgot, real quick, because it wasn't on the list. Kyurem forms. Kyurem normal is going to be C tier. Boo, garbage. Black and white, Kyurem regular is gonna be garbage. It's decent bulk because it has the HP, decent defense, but like it's not enough defense and HP, and it's low on speed, and it has a lot of weaknesses, not as many resistances. As opposed to like Zekrom and Reshiram are way better. Lots of bulk, special defense higher, less HP, but whatever. More resistances, less weaknesses. More resistances, less weaknesses. So they're way better than like using the Kyurem forms. White and black, like their defenses are almost as good, but way more weaknesses, way less resistances. No point in using them. So, but I'll give them, because they're strong, B tier for these two, C tier for this one. Because it's still better than Giratina. Peace.